Good morning. Welcome to Horizon Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Beth Blake-Hedges. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm serving as your worship associate this morning. I'm joined by our worship leader, Reverend Chris Rothbauer, whose pronouns are they, them, their. We are excited to welcome you to our worship service this morning. We're so glad to have you with us today, whether you're joining us in person or virtually, whether you're here for the first time or whether you've been here for longer than you can remember. Here at Horizon, we welcome people of all faiths and of no faith in particular. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome among us. As a community, we also welcome the sharing of joys, sorrows, and concerns. You're welcome to fill out a joys and sorrows slip on the table near the Welcome Center, in the pockets of the chairs in front of you, and here on the table, right where they have the little bin where you can turn them in. You are also welcome to light a candle. This can be done at any time before the service or in service, from the beginning through the offertory. We have one announcement from Kent Darwin.
Good morning. I have the pleasure of introducing the artist whose work is exhibited on our walls. Her name is Madhu Srini Vansam. When you look at our art, consider symbolism that she builds into her work. For example, dragonflies represent self-realism. Whales represent gratitude. Koi fish symbolize love and relationships. These are part of her work that she has exhibited here today. Each week in Horizon News, you will be able to read about her bio and her personal statement. Those are worth reading to get to know Madhu better, but also learn about her spirituality and the work that she puts into the pieces of art that she paints. After the service, Madhu will be in the back with some of her art that she's brought for sale, and an opportunity to greet her and meet her. And I want to say thank you very much for being here, and I hope that you enjoy her exhibit that will be here through middle of June. Thank you.
One other small announcement, there is a labyrinth walk scheduled for 12:15 today. As you can tell, the weather is looking a bit tenuous. We will not walk the labyrinth if it is raining. However, if you were planning on staying today for it, as long as it's not actively raining, we will go out and do it, and we'll meet here in the sanctuary. And I was asked to say that there will be a child care provider until 1:30 if anyone needs that. Our call to worship this morning is from the Reverend Tess Baumberger. This place would be less beautiful without you. Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Jew, Hindu, humanist, and earth-centered too. This place would be less beautiful without you. Your heart honed by hardship, grief, illness, seeking solace and comfort here among us. This place would be less beautiful without you, filled with joy and gratitude, seeking celebration of life's bounty. This place would be less beautiful without you, curious, inquisitive, asking questions, seeking transformations emerging from within. This place would be less beautiful without you, striving to resist a world that tells us we are so much less than we can truly be. This place would be less beautiful without each of us, born here in this morning to seek heaven's fire in each other's souls, our own flames rising to meet.
Our cellist lighting this morning is from Maureen Killerin. Love is the aspiration, the spirit that moves and inspires this faith we share. Rightly understood, love can nurture our spirits and transform the world. May the flame of this chalice honor and embody the power and the blessing of the love we need, the love we give, the love we are always challenged always to remember and to share. Each Sunday through the summer, we water the flowers we planted communally in our Earth Day ritual in April to remind us of the seeds we plant in community each time we come together at Horizon. Please join me in saying our watering words. You'll find them on the screen behind me. In colors bright and essence sweet, like flowers, we blossom when we meet. O source of life, our song we raise. This beauty fills our hearts with praise. Please join me in our affirmation, which is printed on the back of your order of service and projected on the screen. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth, thus do we covenant together. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, number 188 in the gray hymnal, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, whoever you're weaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, whoever you're weaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come yet again, come.
My name is Lord Daniel, and I am Horizon's Director of Education. We have a very special ceremony today. We would like to welcome our Bridging High School seniors and others esteemed guests. At this time, I want to invite our young and young at heart to come sit in the chairs. So you have, right up front here, so you have a front row seat to the ceremony today. And if you have brought donations for MetroCrest services, could you hand them to young people as they come forward? So young folks, come on forward and sit in the seats right up over here.
This morning, we take time to recognize the youth in our community who are taking an important step in their life's journeys and moving forward into their futures. It is my privilege to be here with our teens who are taking part in Bridging.
The bridging ceremony is a beloved tradition in the Unitarian Universalist faith. It is a rite of passage which marks a teen's journey from youth to young adult. Today we recognize 7 teens, five of whom are with us this morning.
Many of you have watched these youth grow up and sheltered them with your love. You are bearing witness to these youth who are now stepping into young adulthood.
Today we mark a transition not only in the lives of these young people, but also in their families. You all will be changed in the coming weeks and months and years as you start this new stage of your life.
A bridge leads to another place and another experience and a bridge also connects you back to the place you started. This bridge is like a thread that connects you to those you leave behind and to the world you are entering as adults. Some of you will be joining the job force, attending school, or embarking on some other great adventure. So this bridge will also connect you to Horizon, your home church, and to the Unitarian Universalist faith that has been your spiritual home.
At this time, I would like to introduce our bridging class of 2024. And when I call your name, could you stand up over here, starting over here next to the pulpit? So our first bridging team, whom I'd like to introduce, is Rin DeShiel Katie, or Catherine as she's known now. Rin has been active at Horizon almost her whole life, including participating in OWL classes and coming of age. This fall, she will attend Texas Women's University. Zach cannot be with us today, but Zach also attended Horizon since he was a child, also participating in different OWL classes and coming of age, all while being on the varsity wrestling team. Zach is finishing up at Grapevine High School, and as you can see, is attending Colorado State University. Jackson Gent. We have known Jackson here at Horizon since he was little, and Jackson has participated in service trips, OWL classes, and coming of age. Jackson intends to continue his education and is still thinking about which post-secondary institution he'll attend this coming fall. Anthony Kirkland. Anthony has been part of our OWL classes and coming of age classes for many years and has been part even of Horizon Players. Anthony will be graduating from Newman Smith High School and will start at the University of North Texas in the fall with the intent of studying art and design. Billie Jean Kirkland. Billie Jean has been part of Horizon for some years now. She completed her special education certificate in 2022 at Newman Smith High School, and after 2 years of life skills training at the Mary Grimes Education Center, will receive her high school diploma in 2024. Her goal is to study art at Brookhaven College. Joseph Oliphant. Joseph will be graduating soon from Denton High School with an International Baccalaureate diploma. He plans to attend the University of North Texas in the fall. You may know Joseph from his involvement in our OWL classes and youth group, and also as a really great helper during our children's events, like the Trunk or Treat. Lastly, I want to introduce Alexander Plossel, who could not be here today. We know Alex from his participation in OWL classes and as a teen earning his Eagle Scout Award. Alex is graduating from Anna High School and is attending the University of Advancing Technology in Tempe, Arizona this fall. Okay.
So we have several gifts for you today. And as Lauren comes over to get the boxes to hand to you, I'll tell you about what each one is going to be. The first is of a rose. This rose is symbolic in Unitarian Universalism because you were dedicated as a child. You were given a rose when thorns had been removed, so you would be protected. But now you've come full circle, and the rose we present to you has thorns, symbolizing how you are coming into your own power and resilience when facing life's challenges.
The gifts in the box are to take with you into this new stage of your life. There are notes from the congregation to celebrate and encourage you, and a chalice to light your way as you move into a new future.
And now, a blessing. We bless you today. May your minds be on fire with wonder and wisdom. May your heart be aflame with love for this life. May your hands be ignited with purpose, and may your spirit be aglow with courage and compassion. You are a light unto the world, and you carry our steadfast love with you wherever you may go. Will the congregation please repeat after me? We bless you. We love you. May your life unfold with joy. Amen.
At this time, I want to invite Velvet Lopez, who represents our young adults, just for a brief word.
Hello, as Lauren said. My name is Velvet Lopez, and I'm representing the young adult group at Horizon. Young adulthood can be a really exciting yet difficult time in a person's life, and it's really important for us to come together. Right now, the young adult group does twice monthly lunches on Sundays, and we also collaborate on other events to do during the month, and we would love for you to join us. A QR code has been included in your boxes, so feel free to scan that, and that goes to our Discord server where you can interact with us and kind of keep track of what we've got going on. You can also talk to me or any other group members after service if you have questions. Any other individuals from our young adult group, please feel free to give us a wave, say hello. So hey, we just wanted to say hello. Big congratulations to you as you enter young adulthood, and we hope to see you soon.
And once again, let's give our 2024 bridging class a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you for witnessing this moment of transition for our young adults this morning. The Bridgers and their families will be receiving guests in the lobby after the service. Teens, when the music starts, you will be welcome to stay and worship, or you can join the youth advisors and other teens in the portable for a bridging party. And then be sure to rejoin us after the service. So we're going to ask our teens to depart first. So we're going to play that song, May Your Mind Be Open to New Learning, one last time.
Still shuffling out. This religious community exists by its mission as a fire exists by burning, but a fire cannot burn without fuel. And it's the time, the energy, the imagination, the vision, the creativity, the compassion, the love, and the financial support of the members and friends of this community that fuels our mission to nurture and sustain a welcoming, inclusive, and diverse liberal religious community that transforms lives and serves the world. Your support, the free and generous support of each and every member and friend of this community, is what fuels this community and its mission, and without your support, the flame of justice, community, and love cannot burn brightly to warm ourselves and be a beacon in a world threatened by division and fear. Thank you to our members and friends who give and pledge electronically. If you would like to give electronically, you may do so on the Breeze app or online at horizonuu.org/donate. One last note, normally our Share the Plate is the first Sunday. For the basket collection, this This one has been moved to the 19th, which is the third Sunday, because we're going to be sharing the plate for the UUSC, which is the UU Service Committee, and their representative, Mary Catherine Moon, will be here for service. So we're moving it to the 19th, but you can contribute all month, and it's throughout the same app that you do for your regular communion or collection, and that'll be through the month of May. The offering will now be joyfully given and received. Thank you for your generosity. A reading from Dr. Omid Safi. When you're standing, beholding the presence of God, at that point, you're not going to be turning around and asking yourself, how did I get here? What path did I follow to get to this point? No. You're just going to be absorbed in the presence of God. And so is the person to your left and the person to your right.
Good pluralism in religion is hard to come by. In fact, it's so rare, I dare say, there are people in this room who haven't seen it done at all, or at least maybe not very well. See, when I talk to people about pluralism, one of two concepts often comes to mind. Either the melting pot model, where everyone's differences sort of melt away and what's left is a completely homogeneous-looking muck of humans who all get along because they've learned what it is they all have in common. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with this model. It's good to know what we all have in common. But the problem becomes when we assume that this commonality becomes so important that it overrides any and all disagreements, especially about morality, that the group may have. The other equally problematic idea is that pluralism is simply everyone believing what they want. You might have heard that one applied to Unitarian Universalism before. And we'll do a sermon on that another day, but suffice it to say, I don't like it. A terrible old metaphor I've heard is that it's like a salad bar. You start with the same base of lettuce, or not, and add ingredients based on your tastes and desires. A few carrots here, some cheese there, maybe a couple olives or a pepper. Want a little ham on your salad? There's some down there. Prefer some sweetness instead? Well, how about a nice fruit and walnut salad? The stuff to make it is down this way. We've got enough ingredients that everyone should find something they like. To me, both of these approaches are problematic. The first is presumptive enough to try to flatten differences, to make them not matter. It's not that we don't have stuff in common, of course we do, and these things can be great bonding moments. But when the things that separate us are reduced to trivialities, we miss out on the richness of our lives, believing that these things really don't matter. For example, I'm not a Sikh, but witnessing a Gurdwara service and how they see God differently than I do was a completely moving and mystical experience, and probably one of my formational initiations into interfaith dialogue. But I'm still not a Sikh. The second implies that by reducing religious belief to a salad bar, that what we believe really doesn't matter as long as you get something off the bar. But what about people whose bodies need a bit more protein and would prefer a hamburger or a slice of pizza? Any nutritionist worth their degree will tell you that a life lived solely on salads is one in which your body is destined to crash. We need variety in our food, much greater than the salad bar metaphor can contain. And just so, we need religious and spiritual beliefs that aren't so trivial that we pick them based on a mix and match system that sees all choices as equally valid. As Eboo Patel, the founder of the Interfaith Youth Corps, puts it, diversity is not just about the differences you like. So these are two examples of what pluralism is not. What is it then? Now, different scholars may disagree on precise semantics, but to put it in a way that most would agree with, pluralism is an approach to religious diversity that recognizes the validity in different sorts of belief systems without trying to boil down everyone's beliefs to what we have in common. Pluralistic dialogue seeks to understand people different from us without either necessarily absorbing them or converting to their practice, but with the goal of understanding why it is they believe what they believe and what that means for my practice and for the world. As Eboo Patel puts it, this means we don't throw out the things we don't like about a practice, but we seek to understand and learn from it. To give an example, one I hope doesn't hit too close to home for folks, I've known so many Unitarian Universalists who readily adopt Buddhism for its message of enlightenment and compassion and its practices of meditation that bring us into greater equanimity with the universe. But when it comes to the Buddhist doctrine of rebirth, the idea that we'll be reborn in another body after death, it's totally a different story, with lots of rationalizations about why the practice is even being absorbed. There's even an entire book on it. A pluralistic attitude will seek not to get rid of the doctrine of rebirth, but to ask how it fits in with the parts we do like, even if we don't adopt it ourselves, how it informs the parts of a tradition that are so meaningful to us. You may have caught the implication, but any true expression of religious pluralism has to have the potential to change everyone involved. That, yes, that includes you who are thinking, does that include me right now? If you're not prepared to open yourself up enough to have your beliefs changed and challenged, what you're doing is not truly pluralism. I know this firsthand. The reason I am earth-centered in my practices today is because I dared to open myself up to pluralistic dialogue at a Shinto shrine in rural Japan in 2014. Because I was willing to open myself up to the priests and practitioners at Tsubaki Grand Shrine, the beliefs opened me to have my entire worldview shaken up. Pluralism is one of the new Article 2 values that will be voted on at General Assembly next month as one of our 7 guiding values. The passage of this value would be an unequivocal declaration that Unitarian Universalism is a pluralistic faith, one where people of many different beliefs and traditions can come together to make meaning of our lives in the world together, not because we believe we all have to be the same, but because we affirm that everyone has to believe what they have to believe. It's not so trivial that it's a salad bar where we pick up whatever we want, but we too change as we have to, evolving our beliefs as our understanding of the world changes. No, it's not that our differences don't matter, but they fade to the background as we work together. In the words of Dr. Omid Safi from our first reading, when you're standing, beholding the presence of God, at that point, you're not going to be turning around and asking yourself, how did you get here? What path did you follow to get to this point? No, you're just going to be absorbed in the presence of God. And so is the person to your left and the person to your right. And maybe you're not absorbed in the presence of God, but in the sacred or the holy or ultimate concern or just beauty to your left. Well, you know what? So's probably the person on either side of you. For Safi, through each other, we each glimpse the sacred. It's not that those perennial questions don't matter, but that I'm learning how to be in community with people who, though they are very different than me, remind me of my own divinity, my own sacredness, my own smallness in the face of a large, expanding universe. Now, I'll be the first to say that this is a great big old bag of aspiration to live up to, and one I'm not sure everyone can do at every time. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the second part. After all, even as I've defined pluralism, it's not an easy task. But I am convinced it is vitally necessary in the world we live in if we hope to build beloved community that will help each of us feel like we belong. We now take time to honor the sorrows and joys of this community, knowing that what affects one affects us all. Michael McKee shares a joy that yesterday was the 100th birthday of Michael's grandmother, Jeannie Fritz. Jeannie continues to make a difference in the world in the love and wisdom she shares with her family, as well as in her work to fight redlining, her leadership in the League of Women Voters and other groups, and her environmental activism supporting her husband, Ned. A joy that the United Methodist Church overturned its 40-year ban on gay clergy and the penalties for holding same-sex marriage. A wish for protests to be peaceful and all to be safe. A sorrow from Carol Franson. Judy Argo, Carol's oldest sister, had a stroke, is on hospice now. And a sorrow from Carmen. Last Saturday at 2 a.m., my neighbor's house caught on fire. Though the humans are all okay, their sweet dog Charlie died. And we light a candle this morning to honor all the joys and sorrows which have gone unspoken and reside only in our hearts. Please join me in the spirit of prayer or meditation in whatever way feels right with these words from Mandy McLinn. After the reading, we'll have a space of silence, which will be broken by our responsive hymn, number 1058 in the Teal hymnal, Be Ours a Religion. Spirit of life and love, Holy One of our being and becoming, that which is sacred within, among, and beyond us. We know so many stories about God, Lord, King, Father, Earth Mother, Great Spirit, Universe, Holy Parent, Divine Love, Deepest Longings, Covenanted Partner, Gods of many faces. We know stories about our country and its founding too, as the values we claim as a people. Blessed One, we also know so many stories about ourselves. Some of them, some stories that we tell about others. Beautiful, ugly, simple, difficult, joyous, useless, worthless. Stories about who we are and what we know and the potentials and impossibilities of our future. Stories about our purpose and the meaning of our lives. We have countless stories buried too deep in our souls for us even to recognize them. Spirits of discovery, help us to find the strength to evacuate those buried stories. Let us lean on one another as we brush them off, hold them up to the light, and find their meaning and use. May our roots nourish us, that we might grow abundantly and flower into blessings for one another, and for the world. Above all, holy ones, sing us a gentle lullaby. In the trees, in the wind, in the kind words of our neighbors, in the warmth of the sun and the sparkle of the snow, whisper to us the truest story. You know, and sing it to us in notes we can never unhear. Remind us every day, every moment, that we are beloved, beloved, beloved. Blessed be.
Is
A reading from Leslie Hazelton. A classic Zen exercise is the Enso, the circle hand-drawn in a single fluid brushstroke. It's close to perfect, but never there. If perfection is what you want, you can produce it any time by using a compass or a computer. But the Enso defies such mechanistic precision. Indeed, it is often incomplete, left slightly open as though an invitation to everything beyond it. And each one is different, never the same circle twice. You can see the hairs of the brush in the drag of the ink on paper. Trace the fluidity of the moment when the stillness of meditation was released in one rapid stroke. Sense the calm grace of the artist. The beauty of the Zen circle lies precisely, or more precisely, imprecisely, in its imperfection. That is what speaks to us and draws us in. A perfect circle is uninteresting, a closed system containing nothing, while an imperfect one vibrates with warmth. It invites us into the moment of its creation, into that single deep exhalation as the hand arced through the air, the brush over the paper. It is open, human, fallible, an expression, that is, of soul.
We are met together, and in being we are blessed. Peace in coming and in going, peace in labor and in rest. We are met together, and in meeting we are blessed. Peace in coming and in going, peace in labor and in rest. We are met together, and in meeting we are blessed. Peace in coming and in going, peace in labor and in rest.
About 10 years ago, I was serving at the Unitarian Church of Calgary in Alberta, Canada, and I encountered one of the most expansively pluralistic interfaith groups I've ever seen. It surprised me because more often than not, interfaith groups are often made up of people on the left, progressives and non-Christians coming together to support one another in creating a world. You know, the people I like. But there were honest-to-God Baptists and fundamentalist Christians in this group, a real rarity, considering how often such groups are discouraged from interfaith organizing, being told it's a ploy of the devil to confuse or corrupt their faith. But here we were, progressives and right-wingers who cared enough to come together to work with people they had serious disagreements with in order to make their city a better place to live. Now, there are limits on this model. You aren't going to find a whole lot of organizing for LGBTQ rights or environmental justice in this group. In fact, in a group that politically diverse, it would be nearly impossible to come to a consensus on these issues, and we knew it. What we could all agree on, however, was that no one should live under the weight of poverty, and that people deserve to have the basic necessities they needed to live: food, clothing, shelter, and medicine. So this coalition joined with the then mayor of Calgary to start a campaign to eliminate poverty in the city. Their common religious beliefs were that their faith, their gods, called them to make sure people could have a good life. Now, I'm already anticipating some of the objections, and they were objections I felt about how LGBTQ rights and climate justice are too important to ignore, and of course they are. But that's the thing about pluralism. It calls us to meet people where they are, to find ways of being with each other that feel authentic with everyone. The congregation I served in Calgary had become a leader in both LGBTQ rights and environmental justice, and even partners with other churches and organizations to do so. But in that particular space, there was another focus, and that is what opened up the possibility for pluralism, with people who are normally seen as having different values. And hopefully, in the end, we realized we're not all the monsters that the news media makes us out to be. On both sides, by the way. This is why pluralism is so difficult, and why calling ourselves a pluralistic faith even more so. It calls us not to assume we're all the same and to meet one another at both places, as well as those where we have dramatic differences with one another. It's a journey that calls us to discern what the good is we can do together with the group we have and risk being changed together. One concern I'm sure someone will raise is whether this calls us to throw open the doors and to accept everyone in at the diluting of our own message. And like any other good boundary, pluralism is a value we interpret and must decide how far is too far in each generation, and maybe even in each group. A coalition of more progressive churches in Calgary struggling together for climate justice or indigenous rights would be just as valid a pluralistic organization as the one I described at the beginning. Just so, there are religious traditions I'm not sure I can ever truly be pluralistic with. I'm not sure I could ever truly be pluralistic with a group or organization that's abusive towards its members. Much work has been published in recent years, for example, about how abusive certain religious cults are. And I thought about naming them for you this morning, but I decided I'll hold up on that in the name of pluralism. And I have serious doubts about whether the values of these organizations and Unitarian Universalism could ever find common ground. And that's where I believe our other values must inform us. The proposed Article 2 values that the UU General Assembly will consider next month do not declare us the faith of anything goes, the salad bar faith, but the place where love is at the center. And if this is the case, then our pluralism is also informed by this love, a desire to be drawn together, born out of the conviction that love is more powerful than hate, but also a boundary that says that we're not going to tolerate intolerance. For me, this gives visions of a place where anybody can find a place, but only if they can embrace that love for humanity that moves us to make the world a better place for all. Those who would exclude certain groups from the bounds of this love would not find our sort of pluralism a very embracing one, nor would those who make it a strictly personal religion that is only concerned with what I can get out of it and whether the salad bar has been stocked again, or whether the group will adapt solely to meet my needs. More than this, though, I believe this sort of pluralism is aspirational, something we are working towards. Like the enso in our second reading this morning, it is something that is almost always, but never quite there. Too often I've seen Unitarian Universalists use pluralism as an excuse to suppress faith traditions that aren't their own, under the guise of making themselves comfortable. But if we're serious about this pluralistic faith, I believe we must, each of us, be willing to be both comforted and challenged in any moment. That's part of learning to be in community with people who think differently than you. Being ready to take thoughts that on the surface seem contradictory to my own and figuring out what they mean in my own life. And maybe this is the real reason pluralism isn't easy, because it asks me and each of us to do as much inner work in challenging of what I thought to be true as what I ask of the other person. For as the Iranian Muslim leader Aga Khan IV puts it, pluralism is no longer simply an asset or a prerequisite for progress and development. It is vital to our existence. May it be so.
We extinguish this flame, but not our commitment to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. We do this because we envision a beloved community filled with compassion, helping all to thrive in a just world. I would like to invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, number 1017 in the Teal hymnal, Building a New Way.
benediction is by the Reverend David Breeden. Let's be the welcome we crave. Open hearts, arms outstretched. Let's embody radical welcome, unquestioning love. Let's be the welcome we crave deeply. Hearing voices and hearts. Let's be the welcome we crave, enriching understanding. Let us embody the community we crave. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace.